had an interesting exchange with someone recently where they asked me what I do for a living, and I explained to them that I teach in higher education in the humanities, and they proceeded to say that, oh, you're one of those professors, the people who indoctrinate kids into this liberal agenda. And I took issue with that comment mostly because obviously it's a rhetoric that we've seen perpetuated the past several years that not only deprofessionalizes but disempowers education as a viable institution, not only for people to work in as a career, but for people to enter and develop a set of credentials in order to be members of a thriving social and economic world with diverse groups of people in it. And of course I respond to them, and I told them, I'm like, when professors enter the classroom, or when teachers in general are entering the classroom, they're not standing there and preaching to people about what they think their political beliefs should be. That is literally not what happens. And on the rare occasions that it has happened, the results for the person doing that has usually been bad. And I personally believe that a lot of the fear with regard to indoctrination right now centers around the simple fact that by entering education, entering the academic environment, one of the first things that students learn is the fact that there are multiple groups of people in this world with different sets of experiences that they may not understand or relate with. And part of the learning process in developing those credentials and becoming an engaged member of society is the fact that you'll have to work with different groups of people with varying, diverse sets of experiences that you may have to acknowledge or understand or ultimately care about. That is not indoctrination. That is simply discovery. And that is something that transcends conservatism, liberalism. It transcends being a Republican. It transcends being a Democrat, because no matter what your political affiliation is or what your foundation of beliefs are, you will engage with people who have varying sets of experiences that may not reflect your own. That is what academia is designed to do, is designed to prepare people for that and to allow them to care about how those variables influence how our world functions ultimately. Yes, I'm not denying I am liberal, and in my own teaching, I really adopt this very, humanity-focused perspective in the sense that I try to humanize myself. I don't talk about politics in the classroom unless it centers around an article that we're reading, or rhetorically breaking down the relationship between speaker and audience with regard to sources that we might be exploring. But I do reference the fact that I have a partner, reference the fact that we're planning to get married, because ultimately people need to see that representation and understand that people who may not be like them exist. Is it indoctrinating? No. It's simply opening the door and showing the fact that, they are thriving in a diverse world, and that's not a bad thing. To anyone who is very eager to shout out indoctrination with regard to higher education or education in general, I would question that fear and ask them where it comes from, because more often than not it is simply perpetuated simply because they heard it from someone else. So honestly, the best learning experience, personally in my opinion as an educator, that we can have is by simply allowing ourselves to be placed in situations where we can see that this world appears differently than what we might see on a regular basis, and that should be celebrated and acknowledged and respected in order to maintain the function of society. So anyway, I just went on a tangent. Thank you for listening. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. And thank you for listening.